3 April 2025, and today I'm very excited to be giving you my evening update. And this is going to be one of the most dramatic days ever. And this week is turning out to be an impossible kind of week to follow. So much is happening, and it's happening in ways that we've predicted and in ways that are going to shape the country. So tomorrow we're going to wake up to something very big, and it has already started. I said to you that by Friday, we expected Chiwenga to be president, and this was going to be through a process that was going to be led by the war veterans. I spoke about it last week, and today in Parliament, we're looking forward to an impeachment at 2 p.m. And what happened is that Mnangagwa in the morning managed to summon a majority of the MPs. And what happened is only a few MPs were in Parliament today. So I will eventually share with you the pictures tomorrow morning. But what they did is they withdrew the majority of MPs from Parliament. And this was one of the reasons why the impeachment did not kick off in a sort of express way. However, the impeachment process is underway. The motion has been submitted to Parliament officials, and you're going to see next week the beginning of that process of impeaching Mnangagwa. However, that process is going to take time. The documents are going to be analyzed and assessed, and they are going to be eventually handed to the MPs. So at the moment, the MPs haven't received the actual document that shows the impeachment. However, what I'm going to talk about here is crazy. Yesterday, I showed this picture of Sithembiso Nyoni speaking. Little did I know that this was going to be her last speech as a minister. So tonight, earlier tonight, there's been an announcement that Sithembiso Nyoni has been fired as the Minister of Environment, Climate and Wildlife with immediate effect. In fact, she was fired. So Sithembiso Nyoni has been fired as the Minister of Environment. And what is going to happen now is very simple. And you're going to see it playing out very, very quickly. So the first thing that you're going to see is the elevation of Valerio Sibanda. The same way that they elevated Ansela Msanyatwe, you're going to see the elevation of Valerio Sibanda taking place very, very soon. They're going to make an appointment of Valerio Sibanda. Instead of putting him as a vice president, you might see them putting him in this position of Sithembiso Nyoni. And I'm expecting a very big move here on the replacement of Sithembiso Nyoni. I'm also expecting a very big move in terms of the military. But the actual target now, the person that they're targeting is Chiwenga. So you're going to see a big move to target Chiwenga. I mentioned it last week that Mnangagwa is going to target Chiwenga. If Chiwenga does not manage to remove Mnangagwa, I explained to you that if Mnangagwa is not removed by the end of this week, Chiwenga is going to be removed. There is no permutation where both Chiwenga and Mnangagwa are going to remain in their positions. So what is going to happen is one of them is going to leave. And in this particular instance, because the impeachment process is going to take so long, and because the beneficiary of that process is the vice president, they are going to rush through to remove Chiwenga before he benefits from the impeachment process. So even if the impeachment process was to proceed, the beneficiary would be either Kuda Tagwirei or Valerio Sibanda. That is what they want to do. They might say Mnangagwa is suffering from vascular dementia. It's fine, but we're going to replace him with Valerio Sibanda, or we're going to replace him with Kuda Tagwirei. So things are going to move very, very fast. And tomorrow morning, you're going to see something very big. A move by Mnangagwa against Chiwenga has already started. And I do not know how these guys are going to defend against this move by Mnangagwa. I have talked to people, and if you look today, you saw that Mnangagwa has reappeared. He reappeared in Harare, and last night, according to my sources, Mnangagwa landed at Victoria Falls. So that is where he landed yesterday, coming from wherever he came from. And he was met by his convoy at Victoria Falls. So Mnangagwa returned last night, and this morning, about 12 this afternoon, Mnangagwa appeared in his office for the first time since Friday, sensing that the danger had passed, because the expectation was that there was going to be some sort of military action. However, now that the Mnangagwa has decided to go the route of impeachment, Mnangagwa has immediately started to put in place or in motion a plan to remove General Chiwenga and replace him with Valerio Sibanda or Kuda Tagwirei. So next week, you're going to see the appointment of either Valerio Sibanda or of Kuda Tagwirei into that position, which is being left vacant by Sithembiso Nyoni. We're going to see a massive move against Chiwenga. Mnangagwa is not going to allow the benefit of Chiwenga into the impeachment. So impeachment is not going to benefit Chiwenga. That's what he wants to do. I'm therefore expecting a counter move from Darageza and the Chiwenga faction. I'm expecting a counter move to take place. Currently, the government of Mnangagwa is in disarray. There is no order. No one knows what is going on. And today there was massive confusion inside the government of Mnangagwa, with key ministries not functional, no one knowing what to do, and everything in a limbo. So yesterday's announcement by Darageza threw the whole government into a panic. Many people fled the country. If you looked at parliament today, there was almost no one, partly because they decided to withdraw the majority of MPs, and partly because many people are in hiding or they've left the country temporarily. But by next week, we're going to have a bit of stability. We're going to know which side has prevailed, because something is going to happen this weekend. Something is going to happen because the fight is now an open fight. No gloves. They're fighting openly. The two sides are openly fighting. But you're going to see the move against Chiwenga now taking place. Mnangagwa, as I said, is going to go straight for Chiwenga. He's not going to wait and go for the lower levels. He's going to go straight for Chiwenga. And the two men are no longer going to be able to sit together as president and vice president. So expect a massive shift in the government next week, with either Chiwenga faction losing or Mnangagwa faction losing. But as we speak today, after the failing of the impeachment motion not kicking off today, you're going to see Chiwenga being on the back foot and Mnangagwa pushing forward. And the Ugandandas are already out. As we speak right now, the Ugandandas are already out celebrating. So they're celebrating because they know that a move is going to be made. And that move is going to be swift. You're going to see a swift move against Chiwenga. By the end of tomorrow, there'll be something already as part of an announcement following the dismissal of Sithembiso Nyoni here. I don't know the exact reason why she was dismissed. She was one of the most quietest MPs over the past 10 years. She has always been in government. However, recently, she has been talking about the pollution that is taking place, especially due to mining activities. So I don't know if that is part of why she was dismissed, but she is not considered to be someone who was influential in any of the factions. I don't think she was influential. I consider her to be someone who was more of an independent person. And last week, she was actually one of the people who spoke on behalf of Mnangagwa. So you remember when I talked here about the women from Matabeleland, she was one of those people that supported Mnangagwa when there was a protest ahead of the 31st of March protest. So Bulawayo had the biggest protest ever took place in Bulawayo last ahead of the 31st of March protest. So what are we seeing right now? We are seeing the beginning of something very big. If you're in Harare, I always say this, something big is going to happen. It's not over. We are just in the beginning. This thing is going to stretch up to Independence Day, which is 18 April. We're going to see so many things happening. And my understanding is that as soon as Mnangagwa moves on Chiwenga, something even bigger is going to happen. So expect an even bigger reaction when Mnangagwa moves on Chiwenga. But Chiwenga is the target. So Mnangagwa has got no choice. He's going to do it. He's going to do it as a way of showing strength and as a way of avoiding what will happen if he's impeached and Chiwenga is vice president. Mnangagwa knows that Chiwenga is going to be president. He doesn't want that. So he's going to position Valerio Sibanda and he's going to position Tagwirei, and he's probably going to leave Kembo Mohadi in place because Kembo Mohadi is someone that does not challenge Mnangagwa. So I expect Valerio Sibanda to be removed from the army and to be put into this position that has been occupied by Sithembiso Nyoni. So as I said, tonight, that announcement being made less than 2 hours ago. In fact, this announcement has just been made. Most people have not even seen it. That Sithembiso Nyoni has been dismissed as a Minister of Environment. Right. I think, guys, you forgive me. I've been up for so long, and now I need to go and do my workout before I sleep. So every night before I sleep, I do my workout so that, and then tomorrow morning you'll see me as energetic as possible. So now let me unpack what is going to happen. We have a number of people in the country who don't understand where we are. Mnangagwa is gone. So the time of Mnangagwa is finished. Mnangagwa is not going to be president for a long time. Mnangagwa is extremely sick. He has got the disease that Mnangagwa said. It's true. That's not a fake statement. That's absolutely true. Mnangagwa is very sick. Mnangagwa forgets things. He is speaking things that don't make sense, and they no longer allow him to speak. You have seen that over the past few months. Mnangagwa has been speaking to a written statement. And I do not want to sound like a crazy person. So what I'm going to do is tomorrow morning, I'm going to play for you an audio from Comrade Nyoka Mapunu, who explained that during the week, last week, after meeting with the ambassadors, Mnangagwa went to bed. And when he woke up at midnight, so I'm going to play for you this thing so that you don't think that it's me. Mnangagwa came out of his bed screaming and ran from his bedroom into the sitting room, screaming that he was seeing SB Moyo. So I'm going to play for you that video, that audio from Comrade Nyoka Mapunu. This was coming from some of the bodyguards at Mnangagwa's home. This is not the first time. There are many, many instances where, and it makes me laugh, there are so many instances where Mnangagwa has done crazy stuff, and it is actually part of the disease of vascular dementia, where you do all sorts of odd behavior and stuff. So you're going to see Mnangagwa out, but his plan is simple, is to leave people that are going to perpetuate the same kind of leadership that is currently being perpetuated by himself and the people around him. So Mnangagwa is on the right path. What Mnangagwa is doing, that is what we need in our country. We need a new system, and we need to support Mnangagwa with all the work that he's doing. He's doing amazing. Under the circumstances, Mnangagwa is doing what he can do. And given his own resources, he's using his own resources for this. Whereas the Ganandas are using government resources. So let's support Mnangagwa with everything that he's doing. It's going to be very difficult, but we have to do it. We have to support Mnangagwa. And I would like to appreciate him. I would like to appreciate all the veterans and Anam, Dara Knox, and all the other guys over here. It's going to need everyone to participate. Mnangagwa is the worst person that has ever happened to Zimbabwe. And do not even doubt it. That is how it is. We need a new system. And the new system is simple. Every government employee under the new system is going to be earning $1,500. Currently, you're earning $300. That is not what you should be earning. And also, there'll be a flow of capital into the country. I've always said there'll be a flow of capital into the country. At the moment, every single business deal involves Kuda Tagwirei. And Mnangagwa only reacts when something happens. So the war veterans have been sitting with nothing for many, many years. Today, Mnangagwa announced that in a week's time, he's going to give title deeds to 600 war veterans. Imagine how many years, 45 years, not a single title deed. But ever since Mnangagwa came, Mnangagwa has tried to give them money, he has tried to build them houses, and now he's giving them title deeds. This country has been destroyed by Mnangagwa because of his poor policies and corruption. So don't allow this man to hoodwink you. Mnangagwa is gone. He's the worst person ever for our country. And we need to support Mundara Geza. He's amazing. And let's support him regardless of what is happening, regardless of the setbacks, and regardless of any strategic or tactical issues. We have to support Mundara Geza. And it is to the benefit of everyone, especially the civil servants. I can almost promise the civil servants that as soon as the new government comes in, you're going to like it, you're going to enjoy it, you're going to be wealthy, and you're going to be able to take care of your families, and you're going to see yourself in a good environment. Not the dump that Zimbabwe has become. Zimbabwe is a dump. Right now, Harare looks like a war zone. It's embarrassing to walk in Harare. The infrastructure is deteriorated. The buildings are bad. There are vendors everywhere. And it's not that the vendors are bad. But being a vendor is not a job. So if you go to a normal country, you don't see everyone vending. So we want to give opportunities, and those opportunities are coming. So M31 is going to be a real thing. And we'd like to thank all the guys who have worked on this, all the guys in the military, in intelligence, and all the guys in the army who have supported this project. This is going to be very, very important. You're going to see Mnangagwa going very, very soon. It won't be long. But first, you're going to see what I'm talking about here, which is the move against Chiwenga, and you're going to see a lot of other things happening. So I want to bring this to an end. Let me recap what I said. I said tonight, we've seen the announcement of the dismissal of Sithembiso Nyoni, and this was a sudden dismissal. I expect that Mnangagwa was making a way for Valerio Sibanda here, who is in the army. I expect Valerio Sibanda either to move into that position or straight into the vice presidency. I also expect Tagwirei to be elevated within this week, and I expect Mnangagwa to move on Chiwenga and remove him as vice president by tomorrow. However, as soon as Mnangagwa makes that move, there's going to be a rapid and sudden reaction. You're going to see something very big happening. So expect some action this weekend. However, there is no way that Mnangagwa can just leave it the way it is. It's already too bad. This situation, one man is going to survive. The other one is going to go. Right. Right. Gambakwe, I'm your big fan, but why also tell us, Neja president, we could Burkina Faso. Maybe tomorrow. He must give a grant to old people. Right. What is promised by Comrade Nyongama in his speeches is that pensioners will get a minimum of $1,000. $1,000 is nothing. It's not money. It's very little. You're going to see a very successful country. When President Dumabogo came into office, he gave every student 4,000 pullers, which is approximately $250. This is the salary that you guys are getting in Zimbabwe. So that's not money. Let me explain to you what a proper country does. In a proper country, there is a proper healthcare system, there's a proper salary, there's a proper transport system, there's a proper education system. And when you retire, you don't die out of desperation and hunger. Those things are missing. The reason why they're missing is that Mnangagwa has got no plan. There's no strategy. And there are no systems. So what Ana Chiwenga are promising is to build a system and to remove the corruption. So fraud, waste, and corruption, that is what they're going to remove. So specifically the government guys, you are the biggest block of employees. You are the people who are going to benefit the most from the removal of Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa does not care about anything and anyone. He doesn't care. The only thing that Mnangagwa cares about is stealing and putting the money in his pocket. So every time you see Mnangagwa, he is making a plan for nothing else. There is no plan about improving the economy, about building a system, about changing anything. Everything is a reaction. So he's very reactionary. And when he makes appointments, they don't make sense. There's no structure. There's no skill required. What is the skill of people in Mnangagwa's government? What is it exactly that they do in that office or in those offices? So you can clearly see that we don't have a proper functional government. What we need is a great change, a big change, and not what is happening right now. And that is what is being promised by Mnangagwa. He wants to leave a country that is functional, a country that is going to make you proud. You're going to get jobs, you're going to get healthcare, and all the guys who are overseas, you're going to come home and live among your people and not to be moving around. But at the moment, Mnangagwa is trying to stop all that and replace himself with his own people, like Tagwirei here and Valerio Sibanda. That is what they're planning to do within this weekend. You're going to see this movement. They've already started. And as I said, Mnangagwa yesterday appearing and landing at Victoria Falls, where he spent a little bit of time to observe. And then this morning, arriving in Harare, according to my sources. So I think I've covered this. Let's look at the comments a little bit more. Bedroom audio. Gambagwe. Yes, this is very pathetic. I think I need to fix this bedroom audio. Remember, I'm traveling around. So we need to fix the bedroom audio. Very soon, tomorrow I'll try to improve this. And then let's see. You can see my screen is not there behind me, right? My office is empty right now. So maybe that's why you get more echo. Check out. There's nothing behind me. ED is dead. No, that is Tatelicious. Tatelicious is crazy. I think it's the hormone pills. That is getting crazy. And then let's go. Sakatate, vatawara chokwadi pamwe azofane stress. Yekuda kubvisa uyu. Tatelicious is mad. One day she called me and says, let's start a war. And I said, do you know war, Tatelicious? I think she doesn't remember that day. Is she remembering that? She said, let's start a war and remove Mnangagwa. Yes, this Mnangagwa is very cruel. It's not cruelty. The man is sick. Seriously sick. You've got a president that forgets everything that he did yesterday. And that is crazy. It's unbelievable that we Zimbabweans allow this to happen. And then Mkoma Temba, Twitter, neka pazi kako. Twitter, neka rori kako. Twitter, neka indrive kako. Twitter, netu buku. Wakanaka kunast. Unoshanda kupi. Kusina mabasa. Mkoma Zimbabwe says, I blocked this thing called Gambakwe. What is it doing on my timeline? Zimbabweans live matter. Zimbabweans live matter. Let's keep going. Let's see each other in the new Zimbabwe where you'll be able to do better. That is all that I want for you. All right, now let's go to our sponsor. And I want to remind you guys that we got a special 2 for 1 for the UK. If you're in the UK, buy 1 packet and you'll get another packet free until Easter. And you'll be as strong as an ox. Your grandfather had 7 wives and they were happy. And you were Urukutaza Mukadzi 1. Guys, mwenda ku Easter. Wotadza oyere kufadza muri yako. So let's do it. Let's order 1 packet of Mve. That's the number that you need to contact. And 1 liter engine turns into 3 liters. 1 kickstart. And you don't have to crank it. So I think we've covered everything for today. I'll see you guys later on or in the morning. I'll be observing the environment until the end of this 18 days, the 18th of September. I'll be appearing randomly, even at midnight. If something happens, somebody is going to drop, and I'm going to make sure that as soon as it happens, we reveal the information when we give it to you. But for now, I would like to thank all of you for your support, and it's amazing. Yes, akabvisa Chiwenga tinozaramu street. Guys, if next week our guys are not out, 98 guys will have been arrested. We need to go into the street. I'm going to give you the program. If these guys are not out next week, the 98 guys were arrested. We need to go back into the streets. We're tired of Mnangagwa and his crazy stuff of arresting people and just basically behaving like a old century, like prehistoric president. Mnangagwa thinks he's in the bush fighting a war, and we need to make sure that he understands. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you again as soon as something dramatic happens, even at midnight. And thank you very much. A good